Hey listeners, this is podcast episode number 353, where I dive into the energy alignment to make empowered pricing decisions. And in this episode, I'm diving into my personal story. So you get to kind of hear what it was like starting off as a broke healer compared to now where I set my own prices based on my energy alignment. And it feels incredible to be able to make such a powerful impact and also make the income that I deserve and I'm worthy of. And so this is a great episode to listen to if you're struggling with any of those things and to make empowered decisions that help to ultimately best serve at your highest level. In this episode, I also talk about if you're enjoying learning about energy and alignment, that I'm teaching a brand new workshop in the middle of February, and you can get registered for that for free if you go to the Mastering Ascension waitlist, which is emilyaarons.com/groups. It is my Mastering Ascension membership waitlist. You hop on that, put your name and email in, and then I'll send you all the details so that you can attend the workshop with me for free in February. Now, if you're already a current Mastering Ascension member, I'm actually teaching sort of like a deeper part 2. So don't you worry, you can come to that class if you like to, but inside of Mastering Ascension, I'm teaching even more in depth. So I'm really going to help you understand, I've been doing energy healing for 22 years. And while I can't wring out my brain and teach you everything that I know, I'm going to teach you as much as I can so that you can become more empowered and ultimately break up with these old business models that are keeping you in a stuck and stagnant place, comparing yourself to everybody else and ultimately feeling like crap every day. I want you to live your life feeling your best, and I want you to run your business in that same energy. So I want to help teach you everything I know so that you can protect your energy field, feel that alignment feeling, and then ultimately put that energy out there in the world. So obviously people feel that from you. So let's get into this week's episode. I did this episode as a Instagram live, and I'm going to be continuously inviting people to more video content from me. So if you're not on Instagram, I'm also going to be sharing some of this on my YouTube channel, and some really exciting new episodes are going to be coming that show you what it looks like behind the scenes of an energy healing session with me. Not just like my group stuff when I'm talking, in big picture stuff, but actually specific with individuals. It's going to be awesome. So make sure that number one, you sign up for the M&A waitlist so that you get the workshop, the Business and Soul Alignment Experience workshop. And then make sure you're following me on the different platforms so that you don't miss anything. We've got a lot of really cool stuff coming, and you've probably been seeing from the outside, as a listener of the podcast or, follow me on different social accounts to see there's some big changes in the works. And I know that you're going to be delighted to experience them with me. I can't wait to share with you. So let's get into this week's podcast. Lots of love to you. Hi there, it's Emily from emilyaarons.com, and today we are talking about energy alignment for empowerment. And I want to start by sharing a little story because, first of all, that might be a fully loaded sentence, and I completely understand and acknowledge that it might be words that you're like, yeah, I like that, but also, what are you saying? So I'm going to back up to explain what is energy alignment and how can energy alignment be empowering for me. So I have been doing energy healing for 22 years. I've been trained since I was very young, and I've worked on thousands and thousands of people over the years in multiple capacities, both in person as well as in distance capacity. And in the last 5 years, I have brought my healing practice online. So I do distance healing for people individually as well as in large groups. And by large groups, I mean sometimes thousands of people. And what is why that's relevant is that I've been doing energy work for a very long time, and I have been trained formally. And I know there's a lot of confusion around what is energy. So first and foremost, we have an understanding that everything has energy, whether it is you and me, whether it is this pen, my desk, a rock, a plant, everything has its own energy field. And your personal energy field might be different than a dog's energy field, maybe different from a rock or a crystal's energy field, or a plant, but everything has energy. And when we tap into that energy, we do feel something. And so whether you're brand new to it and you're like, I don't even know what that all is, we all have like an instinctual knowledge base. Okay. So for example, if you're in a room and somebody walks in and they just are like lighting up the joint, like they're all like, their energy is all like, whoa, and you're like, oh my God, I don't even know who that is. But like, I kind of want to be around that person. And likewise, if somebody walks in and it's like, I think that there's a dark cloud following them, you're like, oh, like, let's just check, please. Like you want to get away. And so you don't have to have like a formal knowledge base the way that I do around energy to pick up on stuff. And I believe that there's some sort of scientific fact that says within 4 seconds, you get that feeling, you get that knowing if it's an energy field that you want to be around or not. Any case, so how we can talk about energy to feel empowered, and especially in our business, I want to share kind of a story with you. So there was a very long period, like I said, for the last 5 years, I've brought my business online so I can help thousands of people virtually and in a distance format. But for over 15 years, I was doing energy healing in a brick and mortar or in person or at live events. And I really called myself a broke healer. And the reason why I called myself a broke healer, I'm seeing people hopping on live with me. So hello, everybody. I don't want to say hi to everybody because it will derail me, but I want to try to stay focused. So why I call myself a broke healer is because I would do incredible healing energy work and massage work and all kinds of great stuff, but then I would discount myself. And by discounting myself or keeping my prices super, super low, I, in effect, kept myself broke for a very long time. And I had a lot of energy blocks around that, around valuing myself and the transformation I was providing for people. But also realizing that I was very blocked in my energy field, that I wasn't open to receiving that next level, even though, of course, consciously, I wanted more money. I wanted to be able to pay my bills and not feel the clench in my chest every time I went to a checkout, or like drop in my stomach when I looked at my bank statement. I knew I didn't want that feeling on a conscious level, but on an unconscious level and an energetic level, my energy system was running on broke healer. And I didn't know how to switch out of that and take off of my broke healer crown and title and switch into wealth, abundance, and ease. Do you sort of see there's a little distinction, and you can almost feel the energy as I talk about one versus the other. And I know a lot of people who are in my community can identify as that. Like, yeah, I don't want to feel that lurch. I don't want to feel that in my system, but I don't know how to get out of that. And so that's where I can help. So I always felt like that was sort of where I was at, and I got used to that. And we get comfortable, even though we're not happy, we get used to it. And that's sort of our safe place. And it really came to me praying for something to shift and to change, and realizing that I needed to become a different version of myself. And in order to do that, I needed to stop doing everything I was doing, all the thoughts, the ideas. And I basically, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that what I was currently doing wasn't working. And so no matter what it was, what was that movie? Yes, was it Yes Man or something? I think it was Jim Carrey, Yes Day. I don't know. That's a different movie. But any case, when he was a lawyer or something, he had to say yes to everything. And it's he became a different person by the end of it. And that's exactly what started to happen to me, is that I knew that all of my broke healer ideas and decisions and discounts and all that and programs and products, everything that I was doing, I needed to stop doing it. I knew that. But to actually stop doing it and to change it and do something else took quite a bit of energy. And Those of you who are online with me, let me know if that resonates with you. Like, I know I have to stop doing this, but like, how do I actually do that? And so basically, when I would catch myself in a thought, I would consciously shift my thoughts into something else that was more of a higher vibration. So how it could empower you is if I had a thought of like, all right, I think that what I would like to do, and this is like literally what happened to me when my business started to transition from brick and mortar healing one-on-one to helping people with, tens of people, 20, 30, hundreds of people that started to transition. So again, working with people one-on-one, you're following kind of a standard format. And, you help one person at a time and they leave your office and then the next person comes in, hopefully. And also I was not fully booked. And so what I started to realize is like, number one, what am I doing that feels really heavy and gross? Even though I don't want to do it, I just I habitually do it, which was discounting myself. I was the discount queen. And so the first decision that I made for myself to become more empowered was I knew it didn't feel empowering when I discounted myself. And what I also realized is that when I discounted myself, I felt less than. And I also realized that I performed better with people who paid more money. And it was like an unconscious thing until I realized it. I was like, oh my gosh, they're getting a way better session. And then I realized the transformation happens with that transaction. And so when I really consciously thought of that, I realized if I am saying, would you like this incredible healing session with me? And they say yes. And then I go, but would you like it 30% off, which is standard practice for old Emily? I was actually saying, but would you like 30% less healing? And I had to really sit with that because obviously I want to help people at my highest capacity, at my highest level. But I kept sabotaging myself because I was in this broke healer energy field mindset. I was in this alignment of broke healer. So broke healer doesn't, raise her rates. Broke healer doesn't, change what she's doing. Broke healer does what she does. And so when I stopped doing that, I stopped saying, yeah, I'm going to do that. I broke that contract to myself that I'm going to stay in that place. And when I started saying, okay, I'm going to charge 100%, even just saying I'm not even raising my rates yet, I'm just going to charge what I charge, period, without discount codes or coupons or whatever I'm doing, specials. And just that was this first little miracle. And when that started to happen, then I realized oh, people do value me and they are getting better transformations and what I do matters. And it started to build something in me and started to kind of pull through my energy field. And what happens is that this idea had been around me for a long time to stop discounting myself, but it really couldn't come all the way through because I was still aligning my energy field with broke healer. And so look at yourself right now and maybe where you're at. And maybe you weren't broke healer, but maybe you're broke coach. Maybe you're broke artist, starving artist, whatever it is that you identify as that you're a little bit stuck in, and see if there is an opportunity for you to no longer identify as that thing. And if you see your higher self, because ultimately the work comes down to what is your higher self saying? What is your higher self asking for you to do, and how are you supposed to be? And so my higher self has always been present. I have always had this really strong intuition. Maybe I haven't always told people about it because really I've only been out of my spiritual closet for 5 years. Notice how that happened. Everything started to shift at the same time, right? But what happens is my identity was this. My higher self was oh no, girl. No. I always saw myself when I close my eyes, and I would invite you to do this too, just really quickly. And I have, a beautiful meditation on crystal clear success that you can really get in depth. And if you're in the Mastering Ascension membership, you can do it anytime you want. But really feeling in when you call in your higher self, and that's that best life ever, the most, abundant, easy, joyful, blissful, like all of that, plugged in, connected, and you're serving at your highest level, you have some sort of knowing of that, whether it's a feeling, a sense, a vision, maybe smell, some sensory thing is going off. And it kind of gives you an idea of what you're made of and what you're capable of. And so when you tap into that person, and you can just ask, like, would she discount herself? Ugh. And like everything in my system tightens up and clenches. And so my body is giving me information. So we might think, like you might think, I don't know anything about energy and alignment and all that stuff, but you actually do. Your body is literally wired to pick up on this information, but a lot of times we either brush it off or we don't even listen into it. And so what I love to do is obviously teach how to do this. I'm actually doing a workshop coming up that is all about this exact thing, about what are the different energy systems, how can we tap into them, and ultimately, how do we tap into our energy systems to get into alignment with our soul purpose, our higher self, as well as our business. Because if those two things are in alignment, what do you think is happening? What do you think is happening for your bottom line, for your finances, for your prices? Do you think that they're staying where they are? Do you think they're shifting? And that's exactly what happens, is because when you start really aligning yourself in that way, everything starts to move and shift and change for the positive, because ultimately that's what your higher self is doing, is saying, like, let's live that best life ever right now. And so where was I? I just kind of lost track. But when I started to make those different decisions, and it brought me into that different place, I started to see myself differently. I started to become a different person, and it started to shift my energy field. And so I started to believe in myself a little better, because I started making a little bit of progress. And then what I started to feel naturally is I was this like empowered being, and I was like emanating this energy of like badassery. I was feeling real good. And with that, what happened is that instinctually, I started to feel stronger messages show up, like, start telling the world that you're psychic. And even though that it terrified me, I also knew I needed to do that. And again, I needed to stop doing what I was doing and start doing new things. And that for sure was a new thing, and it scared me half to death. That's also how I knew I had to do it. Because even in that moment when I was making the first new decision for myself to become my higher self, I knew I had to. And when I started to share that I was psychic, and I started to share my gifts in a different way, being led by my higher self, I started to see results. And then the next sort of thing that started to happen, now this is paraphrasing and like kind of oversimplifying a very long period of time, but I think it's worthwhile so that you can see from one end of the spectrum to the other side of the spectrum of what happens. And what started to happen was innately, first I said, I stopped discounting myself. That in and of itself was like monumental miracle. The next thing that started to happen was I felt like my prices were still too low. And that was like, oh, wow. And I started to find places in me that needed my attention for healing and to shift the energy again, which was I had these healer wounds, and I had witch wounds, and I had these ancestral wounds and memories in my system. And when I started to actually do some deeper healing on myself, and I received healing from other people, I actually had some memories from when I was a witch burned at the stake. And in that memory, I was being burned, and I could look to see my daughter in the, not field, but the people who were standing in front of me watching me being burned. And then I got to look into the eyes of the woman who accused me, and ultimately was responsible for for accusing me, and that resulted in my death. And I remember in that moment, I should have never trusted her. She came to me for help, and I helped her, but I knew I shouldn't have trusted her. And so if I have that memory of back whenever that was, whatever, and I can literally look back at whatever that year was, but for me, it wasn't necessary. But if you look at, like, if that's baked into my cellular memory and into my soul, into my blueprint, that memory is now, current life Emily, stopping me from sharing my gifts. It's stopping me from helping people who I could be helping because I'm afraid of what that could result in for me. And so we might think like, oh, I'm just bad at pricing myself. Sure, sure. But when we actually go into like, what's the root? Where did that fear first start? And how can we heal it so that you can serve at a higher level? When we actually do some deeper healing, which is what a lot of entrepreneurs are missing, is we find this little beautiful piece that says, here's where I need healing. This is where I need to let light in. And when I started to shift and I could heal those places in me, and I could remove those martyrdom pieces and the healer wound pieces and being, just living off the land and having to hide my gifts, when I could heal those places, then I could be fully expressed. And when I could be fully expressed, then more energy could come through me. And when more energy could come through me, I could charge accordingly. And so my rates quickly began to increase. And I can't say like, percentage wise, but I know I was charging consistently $125 per 90-minute session. And that's when I started to shift into online work, and I started to help people virtually 45 minutes at the same price. So already I've doubled my rates. And then I realized, no, that actually isn't high enough. And I went up to, I think, $197. And then it went up to $297. And then it went up to $497. And then it went up to $997. Now, this is all within a year period. So for those of you who are like, I didn't increase my prices on January 1st, and now I have to wait till next January. No, you don't. No one's the boss of you. There's no one who writes the rules. And there's no, quote, right way to do price increases. For me, I guess I should backtrack. The right way for me to do price increases is when my spirit and my soul is saying it's time. And the problem is that for years, my spirit and my soul said it's time. And I kept going, I'll just keep discounting myself. That's fine. That's what everybody else around me is doing who's also a broke healer. And I just kept doing the same thing. But when I stopped doing that, now all of a sudden this new pricing model came in. Now I'm valuing myself. Now I'm increasing my prices. And guess what's happening? In my sessions, I'm becoming so good. Not just good, but like, oh my God, did I just say that? Like, that was unbelievable. And that became my new normal of like surprising myself with how badass the sessions were, with how deep they went so fast, with how profound the results became for my clients. Like the results that they got off of one session was infinitely greater than multiple sessions combined previously at 125. And of course, there's those fears that we all have that's natural that are like, okay, well, I'm empowering myself, I'm raising my rates and I feel good. But like, what about poor Mary Jo over there who can't afford me? And, I want to be able to help everybody. And that's a wonderful thing, but that's also a block because we really can't help everybody. We really can't. There are people who are meant to give out free sessions. I know I gave out, hundreds, maybe thousands of free sessions over the course of my healing career, whether I was a student, whether I was just picking up a new modality, whether I was putting together a new thing and I wanted to exchange my time for maybe a testimonial, or sometimes I didn't exchange it. And then what happens if there's no energy exchange is the work falls flat. And so there is always somebody who's going to be free or super low price or super discount. Trust me, there's a large, broad spectrum of pricing, no matter what you do, whether it's healing or coaching or teaching, or you're a lawyer, or whatever you are. There's a broad spectrum, and you don't have to be the bargain basement Walmart at the very, very bottom so that you can help everybody. Because I can tell you something. I've had people who've said to me, that my $7 meditation that I used to sell, that they couldn't afford it. They had to wait another time because they couldn't afford it. And when I still had that special deal going on, right? There's always going to be someone who can't afford it. And sometimes even the free things you do, people are skeptical. They're like, I don't know, it's free. Maybe it's too good to be true, right? Like sometimes that free and low price is not the solution. And I know for me, and I have many, many friends who feel this way as well, is that I actually won't go to a healer if their prices are too low. Because I know that they're not going to get me where I need to go. My system's not even going to take to it. That's the problem, is that you get to a point where if you were a business coach, you see like, okay, Tony Robbins, I don't know, he's like probably $100,000 for an hour. I don't know what it is, right? But he's probably so crazy, astronomically high price that it's really not meant for that many people. And whoever can afford those prices is going to pay out the nose for a prime, like a primo situation, a primo session. Like you're going to the top and you're going to pay a premium for that. You want Beyonce to perform at your kid's birthday party, you're going to be paying a premium for that. Most likely she says no. It's okay. It's a dream. But my point is that you can't just focus yourself only on the bargain basement who can't afford it. You also have to look at the other side of the spectrum of people like me and other folks who are like, yeah, I'm not going to get what I need from a coach who's charging me $100 for 6-month coaching. Like, that's a joke. And they obviously suck. Sorry. But if you're charging so low, I mean, I've had people who've reached out for one-on-one coaching, and they're like, oh, wow, well, I was hoping to pay like a tenth of that. You're like, okay, well, there is somebody out there, but they won't get you where I can get you, but that's okay. Maybe you don't need to get to this place. That's totally fine. But that's respecting, the work that I do. And I understand it takes some time to get that confidence. But the point in saying this is that you also have to see part of energy alignment and empowering yourself is also empowering your customers with truly charging what you know you deserve, and you are the value. They don't tell you what they think you're valued at. You tell you, and you tell them where your value is. And so there are the customers, again, who, like me, are on the other side of the spectrum, who are like, you're not charging enough for me to get what I need. So if you're focusing solely on who can't afford you, I think it's time to turn around and look at how about the people who are really hungry and ready for a massive transformation. And I'm actually not going to be able to give it to them if I keep charging these low rates. And I guess I kind of got off on a tangent of pricing, but I guess that's what had to happen when we're talking about empowerment. And I want to teach more about energy alignment and business alignment, and I'm committed to doing that. And you're going to see, if you've been following me for a while, or you're brand new here, welcome. But if you've been following me for a while, you're going to see this messaging really get in deeper and deeper, because I am really committed to teaching more entrepreneurs about what is energy alignment and how does it impact your business. Because we're also used to seeing like the little pretty like Buddha position, like you're sitting in the lotus and there's like the rainbow energy chakras over your body. And that's what that's like what we think is like our energy system. But what it actually looks like is something completely different. It's kind of like my guides are showing me like an anatomy chart, right? Like you see the human form on an anatomy chart and you're like, yeah, my abs don't look like that, right? Like you understand, like that's like perfection or like the ideal maybe, I don't know. But in truth, it doesn't look that way. And the same goes for your energy field. So we have this beautiful, perfect energy field. And then we show up in this human skin sack and we have life happening to us. We have traumas happening to us. We have, not being able to pay the bills. We have no childcare for 2 weeks. We have, getting sick. We have our car payments due. We have our car broke down. We have an unexpected leak in our kitchen. And now we have to replace everything, right? We have all this stuff coming at us. And if we're not receiving regular energy healing and alignment, what happens is we stay in this like kind of icky place. And if you're trying to do business from this like crinkled up, not aligned place, you're going to have more difficulty. And so I'm going to be doing this workshop. I mentioned it a couple times. I'm doing this workshop called the Business and Soul Alignment Experience. I've never taught it before. It's unlike anything I've ever done. If you would like to to join this class, I'm only offering it to my community right now, people who are on the Mastery and Ascension waitlist. So the way that you get that class, it's totally free. I've pretty much picked the date, but I haven't announced it yet. It's going to be in the middle of February sometime. I'm going to be teaching it live. So you'll be able to learn from me live. It's completely free, and we're going to go into energy fields, and then we're going to go into business, and we're going to talk about alignment and how to get into alignment and stay there, and with life happening. So if you want to learn from me, and you can ask me anything, and feel free, if you are on here right now with me live, if you have a question about energy fields, about energy blocks, about anything I've mentioned that's been maybe bringing up questions for you, just pop it right here in the chat. This is the benefit of being on with me live. And I'm going to be doing more of these kind of live chats where you can ask me anything. But if you want to come to the class, you just get on my Mastering Ascension waitlist right now. So you go to emilyaarons.com/groups. And if you're on Instagram here, the link is in my bio. So you just go to that website and put your name and email address on the waitlist, and I will be emailing those who are on the waitlist first about this upcoming experience. I'm really excited about it. It's really, so I'm having a huge shift. It's really a wonderful experience if you want to learn more about energy and how to harness it for you. Because truly, as entrepreneurs, we are all kind of gunked up and blocked in different ways. If we can have that energy flowing through us, it makes our job infinitely easier. It makes our energy like attractive and yummy to our customers. It draws people in and magnetizes us. So the people who want to work with us, that are our soulmate clients, not just like a warm body. When I was doing energy healing, I was like, I don't care who comes into my office. If you have a pulse and you have a credit card or a checkbook or cash, I will take anything. If they could pay, they could stay. But I'm talking about really people who value your work, love to pay your prices, understand that there's, something amazing happening within your work. Those are the soulmate clients. So if you have any questions, you could hit the little question icon at the bottom of your screen, or you could type it into the comments, and I'll stay on for, let's say, 5 minutes to answer your questions if anybody has any. And I'll head back to say hi to some people. Hi, I see a bunch of friends on here. Nice to see you all. This is completely in line with the card I pulled this morning. That's cool. Totally resonates. Awesome. If there's no questions, there's no questions. When it comes to energy and alignment, what do you feel like you don't know about? How can I recognize, this is Michelle, how can I recognize when my energy is not in alignment? Excellent question. Along with meditation, what else can I do proactively to align my energy? Great question. So how you recognize if your energy is in alignment versus not in alignment. So first and foremost, you need to get into alignment to know when you are or aren't. So I kind of look at alignment almost like when I first became pregnant with my first son, people everywhere, all these moms, like, oh, you don't know how much you're going to love that baby. Oh my gosh, you've never felt love like that before. And I'm like, yeah, I am pretty sure I've loved people before. Like, yeah, I get it. But I didn't get it, because when I gave birth, the moment that I actually pulled my son out, it was like my heart exploded, and everything after that point, it was like, right? Like, and even since then, right? Like, it only gets deeper and more expansive, like, as he gets older. Like, they're right. I wouldn't know. And you can't describe what that feeling is for somebody else. They have to experience it for themselves. And so, number one, how do you recognize when you're in alignment or out? So simply put, either it feels good or it feels bad. Those are very simplistic ways to tell if you're in alignment or not in alignment. So the problem is that a lot of times with, like I mentioned, all the things that life are coming at you, you're usually going at a clip, right? We are very reactive in our life. We wake up, we go on our Instagram account, we're responding to emails, and we're responding to upset customers or whatever's going on. We're very reactive in our day versus being more proactive, which is taking some space for ourselves, meditate, set an intention for the day, move our body, get outside in nature, and then go into our work life. When we are constantly prioritizing ourselves as number one, moving our body, getting in nature, eating foods that feel nourishing, taking care of ourselves, number one, getting regular energy healings, then we understand, like, what does this good place feel like? Because a lot of times we're not even in like our best vibration more often than not. We're in like a place like where we have felt good-ish and bad-ish, but we haven't really, maybe we felt different parts of the spectrum of how good we can feel or not. I know for me, I had a lot of depression and anxiety before I really found alignment. And alignment kind of felt like ease and flow, and it didn't feel so hard anymore. But a lot of times when it feels easy, we're like, wait a minute, this is too easy. Hold on, right? And we kind of self-sabotage. So easy, the way we can look at it is like alignment is ease and flow. Instead of pushing the river and trying to get everything down your way, you are in your little inner tube flowing down the river. And you said how, along with meditation, what else? So these are the different things to take care of yourself. Yes, like I mentioned, all the different things that you can do to take care of yourself to get into alignment. And so then when you are in alignment and you're in that aligned state, then you know pretty quickly when you get pulled out of that. Even sometimes like watching a movie or seeing a post or interacting with a relative or seeing like road rage, like there can be simple things in your day that just like just pull you out of alignment. And sometimes you don't realize it until a little bit later when you're like, why do I feel like absolute crap right now? And you kind of like, oh, I haven't done these. Oh, there it is. And you realize you're out, and then you can do things to pull yourself back in. Inside of Master and Ascension, I have hundreds of energy healings to help with wherever you're at. So it does help to have that access. But if you don't have that, you can do whatever feels right for you. And a lot of times you already know instinctually. Laura Simmons, will this be offered in M&A? My workshop, I'm not going to do the workshop in M&A, but I have something better for M&A. I'm going to put together like a part 2. So I'm going to have like the free part that I'm going to do publicly, for my wait list. But for M&A, if you saw the thread from the other day, I asked about, what do you want to know more about for energy? And I'm going to put together a special, like more in-depth workshop that we really get into like specific blocks and how are we moving them and how can we maintain this alignment all the time, even when life is seemingly coming at us. So yeah, do you think that when certain people are around you, do they mess with your energy in a negative way? It seems to do better when certain people aren't around me. Yeah, for sure. Gia, that's a great question. So yes, and you have ultimate say over who interferes or doesn't interfere with your energy field. So when you are in alignment and you're doing activities, so you know that you have this container and this is yours, your business, you can set yourself up with a simple intention of how to create a safe container for yourself to maintain alignment and balance, regardless of whoever is around you. And in M&A, in Mastery and Ascension, we have the Reboot Meditation. So you know how to clear your energy field very easily, very rapidly. And so if and when you notice you're out of alignment or somebody has kind of like got under your skin, you can separate yourself, go to the bathroom, clear your energy field, set your container again, set your intention again, and get back at it. And a lot of times, these are like coworkers, relatives, like people who are super close to us that we can't just like poof out of our life. And it's really important to be able to hold a strong container for yourself so that you're not constantly being pulled. And there are energy vampires, let's be honest. There are people who are just kind of like siphon the energy off of you. And sometimes like innocently, like they might be like a dear friend, but they're, maybe going through a hard time or something and you just feel drained after you see them. And, we've all done it. We don't try to do it, but like, it just is what it is. So it's about learning more about your energy field and how to maintain that too. Love the library inside of the portal. Thank you, Michelle. Love the artwork behind you. Thank you. This is a Jody King piece. I commissioned it from her. She's a dear friend. She was a client. She became one of my best friends. And she did this beautiful piece for me. And there's a lot to be said about it. But anyway, I know I said I was going to come on for 5 extra minutes to answer your questions. I hope I have done that. And again, if you want to join that workshop, get on the M&A waitlist, EmilyAarons.com/groups. And I will be happy to answer as many questions as you like, especially inside of Mastery and Ascension for now. If you have more burning questions that you have for me, pop them in there. I thank you for answering. I was hoping it wasn't just me. No, it's not just you, Gia. We all have that. I actually made a video years ago about energy vampires, somewhere on my YouTube channel, if you follow me there. But I'm going to be doing more content around that. That's a great topic. So thank you for asking that question. It was really great. All of you, lots of love. And I hope to see you inside of the Business and Soul Alignment Experience mid-February. Get on that wait list. I'll see you guys soon. Lots of love.